Pretzels, the starting soon song was muted that whole time? Well, you can tell it's been a while since I've streamed on a regular schedule because everything's all screwy and I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Hi, everybody. Speaking of, I didn't set up the camera before I hit go live, so I don't know where the camera is right now. Oh, that's, yeah, don't mind me. We're just gonna attempt to subtly adjust that.
Such a professional.
So things are a little bit more in place. Such a professional, says my moderator / spouse. Thanks, babe. I'm trying my best. Mwah. Wasn't sure if my stream had stalled, says Turnip. No. I'm just having a day. I did something to my lower back just before we started, so, yeah. Chat says hi, sweetie. Hello. He says hello. He just got in, so he's very tired. I also am very tired. Anyways, hello, friends. Welcome in. Hello. Let me catch up with chat. I have a hydrate straight out the gate from Q2s. Thank you very much, Q2s. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. Turnip is also here. Hello, welcome in. Hello, Joe. I think Dan's here as well. Welcome in, Dan. Hello, friends. Hello, hello. Turnip says, I misspelled Craig. That's Krieg. Krieg is, I'm not actually sure what sort of creature / magic character Krieg is, but he gets a lot of Craig's post by mistake. But there is now somewhere in the lore there is definitely a Krieg. who is distinct from Craig, who I'm painting today, who is a toad wizard. Anyways, hello, welcome in. How y'all doing? It's lovely to be here. Hello. Hi, babe.
Krieg is a warlock gecko.
Krieg is a warlock gecko, says my moderator / spouse. Perfect. Now I have another character I have to paint. Can't wait to meet Krog, says Stan. Oh my god. Which is also a very good name. Thank you. These are all very good names. Anyways, I'm so sorry about the starting soon music. That was me forgetting to reset it before we started because, as I say, woof. Your streamer is tired, and also your streamer hasn't done this in a week and has forgotten how to do it. Yippee skippy. Anyways, Joe, thank you so much for the lurk. Thank you. This is such a professional whisper by that was funny, says Q2's. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, he's right, though. I've been doing this for years, and I'm terrible at it. Absolutely terrible. My stream anniversary is coming up on the 27th. Am I streaming that day? I can never remember. Is my stream anniversary the 21st or the 22nd? I don't know. I'm streaming on the 22nd, so let's call it the 22nd. Is my stream anniversary? So I'm going to have to figure out something special and fun to do that day. I don't know if there's anything you want to see me do that you think would be particularly, like, torturous and bad and therefore entertaining and would make me suffer and feel terrible. Yeah, you can do that. Anyways, Krieg is the evil twin, the only conclusion, sister. Oh my god. You haven't streamed since last year, says Q2's. I know, it's been so long. It's been so long and I don't remember anything about how to do it. Moriax, hello! Who cannot stay. But they say, I need to know if Craig is friend or foe to our lovely boy. There is lore, and there is... The answer is, the short answer is friends. The long answer is it's complicated. And the reason I say it's complicated is because Craig the Toad Wizard is a funny old fellow. He's not that old. He's like, how old is Terry in human years? Like, I don't know, like the forg equivalent of like 32 probably at this point. They're about the same age. But here's the thing about Craig. Craig is very much under the impression that they have some kind of like rivalry situation going on. Terry is completely unaware of this. Terry just thinks that Craig is like just his pal. They're just buddies. Like, they're just friends. There's nothing rivalrous about Terry's relationship with Craig, but Craig is like, if he ran into Terry out in the Enchanted Forest while they were doing, like, you know, magical type errands, And Terry was like, oh, I was just about to go back to the cottage and make a nice cauldron of tea. Would you like to join me? Craig would be like, actually, I just had an even larger cup of tea. I have to go now. Bye. That's Craig. And I love him. He is wonderful. Yeah, anyways. Dan says, oh god, she's making Craig an ex of Terry. No, absolutely not. No, I would never. That's adorable. Hello, Leaky. Welcome in. Welcome. So the reason that Craig the Toad Wizard has come into existence is the fact that my beautiful moderator / spouse bought me this little teddy, this little plush of a Toad Wizard, and I was like, this little guy's got to be part of the Terry lore somehow. So his name is Craig now, and all your lore includes in their dating though, says Dan. I know, but here's the thing. We did actually recently establish some lore about Terry. And that is the Terry's Arrow Ace. So he's not really looking to date anybody. Oh, the OG inspirational Craig is on his way. Here he is. His little wizard hat. So this fluffy little buddy was the inspiration. And I love him very much. He's very huggable. You can't see me, but I'm giving him a little snuggle. I'm being motioned to toss him back. Okay. Whee! He seemed to enjoy that. Anyways.
No way.
Sweetheart, do not finish that sentence. This is an adult stream for grown-ups, but still. Anyways. So that's the deal with Craig. I've just realized I don't have any water in my paint water potto. But here's the thing. I also haven't quite finished this. Jim says Terry is ace, right? Yes, he is. I felt like my lore has a lot of people who are dating, and I felt like we needed some ace rep, and I always kind of felt like I don't really feel like Terry wants to be in like a relationshipal situation with anybody. He's just happy chilling by himself and having a lot of good friends. Sometimes. Oh, do you wanna water me?
How much? 2/3 full.
Three quarters, please. Thank you. You'll never guess what I'm gonna add to this, because this is Craig here is in his little stone cottage. I feel like he's in a little stone cottage, so I get to draw little sort of irregular stones making up the wall, because I think that's real stinking cute. Maybe even some moss, because moss is fun. Please water the streamer. Also, Joe says hi, babe.
Hey, Joe.
I don't know if you heard that, but he said hey.
Milk and sugar.
Milk and sugar in my paint water. Disgusting! Absolutely shocking. Anyways, thank you for the hydrate. I will take a sip of this coffee. I was feeling the need for such warm coziness that I made myself a bonus coffee this afternoon. I also have a tea. I have left the bag in this tea because it is, I love this. It's the mint tea. Not sponsored, but it is the mint tea from this brand. I only ever saw it once for sale in a shop when the shop was closing down. And I have not found it in any other local like supermarkets or shops since. So this is the last tea bag of these mint teas that I have. And when it's gone, that's it for this mint tea, which is it's so delicious. It is like, and it's so simple. It's just like a 50-50 blend, I think, of peppermint and spearmint. I haven't had the box it came in for quite some time, because once I got down to like the last 5 bags, I try to be like an always be downsizer if I can ram those into like my next box of tea so that it's taking up less space overall. Like that's what I do, and that's what I did. You can buy online, says Joe. Yeah. I figured as much. But am I going to have to pay to ship it? Well, I guess I could see. I do have an account with Ocado now, which is, for anyone who does not know, is like an online grocery shop. I found with one Google. This is dangerous knowledge, but thank you. I shall look into it after stream. Because I usually get when it's on sale, I get the Pucka's mint tea, but I don't think it's as nice. Free shipping. Oh, Biddle boy. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. That's wonderful news. Anyways, this is the good tea. I will try and get it for not full price though, because damn, it's expensive for tea bags, but I need that mint tea for my general well-being. General well-being, you can't see, but I just saluted. Yeah. Anyways, the reason this sketch exists, by the way, this little Terry, is that I want to formulate a new emote, and I thought something that was sort of huggy, lovey, cozy, of that variety would be really cute. I'm not convinced. I think I need to refine this a little bit, because obviously it needs to be very, very, very small, and so I think I need to kind of like compress. Terry's gonna need to get squished, basically. But we shall try. But anyways, here we go again. Major distraction. Saluted again. Thank you, Dan. Tee. Anyways, yeah. Okay. All right. Guess what's happening over here on this side of this painting? Can you guess? Can you guess that here's a window? Here's a window in Craig's little toad cottage. But can you guess? Can you guess what's going over here on this side of the page? I shouldn't talk about your private business like this. Private business. Oh my god, Dan. That wasn't me flexing, sister. I have Google for it's fine. I did not consider it a flex. I just have not. It wasn't something that was like enough of a thing to be on my radar. But I do drink a mint tea every day, so I like it to be a nice mint tea. Yeah, that's tasting real good. Anyways, this is a nice mint tea. Anywho. Planet Organic said, I don't have, is that, that's like an actual, that's a physical shop, isn't it? I think so. Because I think I used to go past one, and also apparently TK Maxx, good lord. I do not dare go into the so there is a TK Maxx in my, city of residence. I do not dare shop at the TK Maxx. Because TK Maxx scares me. It's just so... There's just so many... There's just... Listen. There's so much... I did order something from the TK Maxx website once. Specifically, these bed sheets. Not to put on my bed, but because they, like, the fabric is a pattern, like, it's got, like, a pattern printed on it that I really wanted to make into a, like, a piece of clothing. Have I done this? No, it's just sitting as a pack of bed sheets still, but I will get around to it. But it was a really, really good price. I don't anticipate it's going to be great fabric, because, like, you know, it was TK Maxx bed sheets that I bought for, like, maybe 12 quid, which... For fabric, for, like, nice fabric is pretty cheap. But to that end, you know, I think it'll be a good thing to make a garment out of that I've never made before. And if it goes slightly wrong, at least the fabric was cheap. And if it goes perfectly, then I have an outfit that is a beautiful shade of blue, but also with, like, oranges and orange blossoms printed on it, and it's very cute and citrusy, and I think that'll be really fun. Anyways, Planet Organic sounds like a vegan-only gym. Oh my god, it does! It does! Oh, so much soy protein. And, what do they... No, they make protein out of peas now. And probably, maybe almonds? I don't know. Anyways. Nothing near your area of residence, says Joe. Unsurprising. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Leaky says, I'm surprised they didn't revert to TJ Maxx in the UK when TJ Hughes went, but oh, is that why it's TK Maxx in the UK? Because I know that in North America it's TJ Maxx, but it's the same shop. I don't think they had T anything Max in Canada. I think they just had other similar types of shop like Winners and Marshalls. You know, that for anyone who isn't familiar, TK Maxx / TJ Maxx is a shop that it's very much a who knows what you're gonna get from us on any given day kind of shop, where who knows what you're going to get from this shop on any given day. It's like designer adjacent or like designer brands for less expensive prices, but it's also really it's a massive mixed bag. You don't know what you're gonna get. It seems to be like a combination of just random stuff that was probably made specifically for this shop. Other things that they just have for some reason. I remember one time we went into the TK Maxx near sort of in my in-laws part of the country, and they just had some very like slightly broken looking, you know, when you know like the Scandinavian style crisp breads that come in like the big circles, like it's a record album but it's made out of rye, and the music that it plays is just sort of like ask me how I know. Anyways, but also it's got a hole in the middle, so you can't stick it on a turntable if you're insane. You will break your turntable. Don't do this. Anyways, they just had like a bunch of those that I normally get from like the Scandinavian grocery store in London. And I almost bought one, but I would have had to carry it home. And I don't think it was at any discount. They often advertise sort of like the discounts are really good and you can get like designer clothes. But there's like occasionally something that was probably regular price a lot more expensive, and then there's also a lot of stuff that is designer labeled technically, but is made specifically for these like discount shops. So so you're actually just buying something that is a designer label, but it's regular price, and the regular price is cheaper. It's very confusing. And then just a bunch of random stuff. Who knows what will be there? Scented candles. There seems to be a lot of like scented candles and that kind of thing that they sell, which like I am 100% here for. And also, I did check out their Halloween section one year, and it was pretty fit. Anyways, it's a funky shop. I bought a suitcase there, says Joe. Nice. I am really excited about the bed sheets that I got from there. It is, as I say, it is a little bit like, if you're going shopping for clothes, I feel like having trawled through a few of these, it can be very, very hit or miss what you'll get, because like sometimes they'll have like a whole bunch of an item in a range of sizes, and sometimes they'll just have like this one pair of jeans in one size. Sorry, good luck. I plan to buy another one because I'm more with the wheel, says Joe. Nice. I hope that you are able to get the thing that you want. Joe says that pea protein tastes like peas. Icky. Especially when it's a chocolate. Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm feeling the combination of peas and chocolate as like a flavor combo, so I feel you on that. I don't think I've ever had, because you can get like a plant-based milk that's made with peas now as well. I've never had one of those. I usually just get oat because I know that I like oat, which isn't necessarily like the highest in protein, but I'm also not obsessed with getting a gazillion grams of protein in my diet. Like, seems to be like the health and wellness trend at the moment is just like shoehorning insane amounts of protein into every possible product. And it's like, most like human adults don't need that much unless you are doing like heavy physical labor or working out a lot. Like, definitely you should be consuming some because you need it for like energy and, you know, like for your muscles to not atrophy probably, but like you don't need that much. Unless you've got, like, specific deficiencies or you know that, like, say, just, like, the regular food that you eat is missing protein for whatever reason, like, you're probably fine. As long as you're eating fairly varied variety of ingredients in any given week. Like, don't worry about it. I say this, I do actually put, like, a tablespoon of technically a protein supplement in my evening coffee. But that's actually because it's collagen protein and I need it for, like, my joints, because I'm getting older and my joints have always been bad and I'd like to try and maintain the elasticity of my joints that they need collagen to help with that. Anyways, oh, it's Huel, says Joe. I've never had a Huel smoothie. That's what I tried. I was weirdly freaked out. But, yeah, I'm not surprised. I think that's one of those things where, like, I understand the thing of, like, meal replacements as well as, like, sometimes that's really useful. Like, if you know you're not going to have time to actually prepare breakfast, but you need, like, a substantial breakfast to give you energy, until lunchtime, that kind of thing can be useful, I think, because, you know, they do fill it with the stuff that you need in order to live, like, you know, proteins and the other parts of, like, the human, like, dietary pyramid of needs. I don't know. The food pyramid, that's what I was thinking of. Why was I thinking about? I was thinking of the hierarchy of needs. That's a very different. That's not nutrition. That's psychology. Anyways, what was my point? Oh yeah. But, like, you know, I don't really get on with them generally. Maslow's food pyramid, says Joe. Yeah, exactly. Oh no, oily mouthfeel from Huel. Ugh. Did they put, like, coconut oil in it or something? Because I know coconut oil is a popular health ingredient as well. Maybe it's coconut oil. Ugh. But I'm also pretty sure that there's, like, stevia or something in it, or definitely some kind of, like, non-sugar sweetener, which is probably good, because considering it's supposed to be a milkshake, it would probably have a butt ton of sugar in it if they just loaded it with sugar to make it taste good. Speaking of, you know, this is one of my little soapboxes that I've been yelling about for years, and that's that the UK put a tax on drinks with added sugar to them, like, you know, Coke and Sprite and, you know, fruit beverages that aren't just, like, squeezed fruit so they can't call it juice, that kind of thing. And I've always had an annoyance with this, because the way that the companies got around having this additional tax on their beverages is to cut down on the amount of sugar and then compensate by adding sweetener, either making it a zero sugar beverage or making it a beverage with sugar and sweeteners mixed in. Unfortunately, like, every single artificial sweetener tastes extremely nasty to me. I have zero tolerance for them as, like, a flavor experience. It's just so freaking gross. But also, generally, my tolerance for sweetness has gone down the older I've gotten. So I found this box of children's juice boxes, and I drank it, and I was like, wow, this is surprisingly not that... It's not a super strong flavor. What's up with that? And then I looked at the ingredients list, and it turns out that it's literally just 50% water and 50% apple juice. And you know what? It was really good. It was delicious. There was nothing wrong with it. And this is what I've been saying for years. You want to cut down on the amount of added sugar in, like, your Coke or whatever, instead of just adding, like, stevia or, like, Ace K or whatever in huge amounts and making it cloying as heck. Like, someone in this household enjoys a Pepsi Max cherry. Every time I sip it, I'm like, nice cherry because it's too sweet. It's way too sweet. And I say this as a person who will, like, mainline just like a shooter of maple syrup. And I find, like, the Pepsi Maxes of the world too sweet. More companies should be doing what this juice brand does and just literally just cut out an amount of sugar from their beverage. Just be like, hey, this is Coke low sugar. Same great taste, 50% less sugar, no sweeteners. I'm sure I'm not the only person who would honestly find that more palatable than the regular stuff. Cause like I had like full fat regular Coca-Cola at the holidays because it came free with like a takeaway delivery that the family had made. So we just had this bottle of Coca-Cola and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll have some. And you know what? It was nice. It was nice. It turns out I don't actually dislike the flavor of Coca-Cola. It's pretty decent. It's kind of citrusy. It's got a little bit of like cinnamon spice going on. Whatever's happening in it is pretty good. But it could stand to be half as sweet and still taste just as good, in my opinion. I don't know how to like test this. Because, like, I could conceivably take, like, you know, half Coke, half sparkling water and make that into a beverage. But that's not really the same thing, because that's also half as much of the aromatics and flavoring agents in it. So it's just going to be kind of watered down, you know? And if you've ever had, like, a cola beverage that comes with a bunch of ice in it, and then the ice melts, you know what a watered down soda tastes like. But I'm more interested in a soda with, like, 100% of, like, the flavors in it, the cinnamon and, you know, the citrus and whatever other flavors go into a soda beverage, but just use half as much sugar. I just think it would be fine. And I think possibly people would get on board with it. I think people might like it. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe they tested this out and found that no. I don't know. Or maybe there's some reason why they're like, we don't want to do that. I don't know. Maybe there are some flavoring agents in there that are really, really, like, bitter and tannic if you don't add a ton of sugar to offset that. That's also possible. I know there's certain things where it's just like, I would just rather not drink this if it's not sweet. Because there are flavors in it that the sweetness effectively, like, kills that I don't like. So, anyways. Sorry for the rant. Dan says, did you just say you're getting more bitter as you get older? Oh, no. See, Dan, my secret... I've always been bitter. And I am just fighting tooth and nail to maintain my sense of whimsy. And it hasn't always been easy. But, yeah. Anyways. I needed to add some additional elements to this piece before we start painting it, so, hoping to do that. Now, can you get, okay, chat, can you guess what's going in this third of the piece? Do you have any guesses as to what's going into this third of the piece? Bearing in mind, we are in an indoor scene, and this is in a wizard's cottage. Joe! Is the right answer! Books! Yes, absolutely. Joe says, I disagree, you are the sweetest. You and moderator / spouse, I've seen you in 3D. I know, like, I remember you came to our wedding. And we love you, anyways. But no, you're the sweetest. You. Right there. Hello. Anyways. No, but I don't consider myself to be bitter. I think, I mean, it's January, and I apologize in advance. This is going to be... I witnessed this, says Joe. I know, and we are eternally grateful. But, oh my god, Dan, that is a wonderful, terrible drawing time. Thank you. I can put up drawing bookshelves for a few minutes. What was I gonna say? Oh, I forget. I think we're getting close to being full, and this is quite a substantial prompt, so I'm gonna move to the next sheet for this. I think I might be able to cram some small doodles into this canvas, but for the most part, I think we're ready to move on to the next one. Anyways, one exciting thing that happened to me this holiday break. By the way, how was everyone? For anyone who wasn't here last week, because I did pop in last Monday. How's everyone's holiday breaks been? How are your New Year's? Did you have a fun New Year's? Did you stay up until midnight? I'm just noticing that this decorative gourd is getting a little bit squishy, so it might be time to retire it. I have had it since October. Also, I did get paint on this one, which is great. I think it might be time to retire that decorative gourd. I think it's starting to shrivel. Oh no. Do the antlers and red nose disappear after today, says Leaky? To be honest, I think the antlers are definitely sticking around until The antlers are definitely sticking around until, like, February, because I'm still feeling, like, the spirit of winter. But I'm realizing that, am I still really, like, a clown? Or am I kind of in my just staring into the void and disconcerted by the way it stares back at me era? I'm not sure. This is... I want to let you know up top, this is going to be a difficult month for me. I have some scary ass paperwork to look forward to, for which I have to, like, fill out forms and talk to people, and it's also 4 figures of expensive, which is not something that I feel super good about affording right now, but so it goes. It is, you know, a little insurance for my future. Basically, I'm applying for British citizenship, so wish me luck. I am scared. I am scared that somehow they'll be like, actually, no. I don't know. I don't know what, like, I know what the criteria, I fulfill all of the criteria. I am an individual in good standing, and I've been living in this country for many years now, and there's no reason for me not to be able to get citizenship, but it's still really scary to do. I mean, I assume if they say no to my citizenship, I'm still allowed to stay here forever because I have indefinite leave to remain already, but it still makes me real nervous. Because, like, what if there's some, what if, like, I misspell something on a form or I don't tick a box correctly, and they're like, nope, thanks for the £1,600, you can't have citizenship. Goodbye, and that's it. Like, I'm so scared. I'm so scared! Anyways. Catching up with chat. It took me 4 days to recover from 6 days of family, says Joe. That sounds about right. Yeah, mood, which is, to be fair, is better than normal, I think. Good job! Otherwise, I enjoyed seeing the nibs. Oh, bless! I was too tired by day 4 to enjoy properly. That's fair enough. It's, especially if you're going visiting, I don't know if you were, like, whether you're visiting or hosting, it does get exhausting. It is a tiring thing to do. If you're hosting, you know, having to, like, worry about, like, is everyone being fed, and there's people in your house, which I find deeply stressful, or if you're visiting, you're sleeping in a bed that's not your own, and, you know, you don't have your usual sort of, like, routine and schedule, and there's people everywhere, and being beholden to other people's schedules and itineraries, just, you know, things that make me feel a stress. Even when it's a fun time that I'm enjoying, it's still a stress. Anyways, so I feel that. We did do some visiting as well, and had a lovely time, but also, woof, exhausted by the end of it, even though it's supposed to be a holiday, damn it. Anyways, Moriak says, Sammys don't shed their antlers until spring. They need them to challenge other artists for dominance. Oh god, well that's a battle I'll never win. That's why generally I try and be a cooperative creature if ever I can, rather than having a rivalry like Craig. Leaky says, I stayed up until midnight watching a Twitch stream the annual festival Hidden Object game playthrough, aka Hogmanay. Oh, bless! In good standing with who, says Dan? The government, I guess. I visited, all my routines were disrupted. I think I'd prefer hosting and having a place to hide, says Joe. Oh, bless. I kept shutting everyone out of the kitchen so I could get some peace and let my mom sit down. Oh, bless. Oh, bless. I hope that all went well, and I hope it was good. Anyways, from about 10 minutes ago, a terrible drawing time from Dan, who wants to see Terry doing a cartwheel whilst Craig... Wait, did you want me to draw Craig or Krieg? Because they're 2 different people. This is Craig. I don't know what Krieg looks like because I haven't drawn him yet. I said what I said Dan. Oh god, why would you do this to me? I have to, this is a 5-minute, for anyone who doesn't know, terrible drawing time is a phenomenon that happens on this stream to my great shame, where for 5,000 channel points, you give me 5 minutes or less to draw a character or concept if you are choosing from memory or sight unseen on the terrible drawing canvas. We do that. There was the time that what was happening with my... I think I had like a tentacle for a nose for unknown reasons, whilst also doing some sewing, and getting sewing supplies out of my sewing basket with my tentacle nose. So that was the thing. This is like a little robo granny, of some description. Here's a beautiful mermaid, looking for treasure. This obviously is Hornet and Bing Bong the Bell Buddy. Krieg is busy back home in the mirror dimension. Turner says, I got a lurk, but I'm so sad to miss this. I'll check out the VOD. Oh, bless. Thank you so much for the lurk, by the way. I appreciate it. Anyway, so I have to draw Craig the Toad Wizard looking on enviously while Terry the Forg Mage does a cartwheel. So I'm gonna... An escape room, only it's full of books instead of puzzles. I mean, that would just be... Why would you want to escape the room? It's full of books. That's it. Unless all of the books are bad. If it was a book full of like... Oh, honestly though, I was gonna say if it was a book full of those like old... you know those like car repair manuals? You know the ones that like... They publish like new editions for like every type of car like every year kind of thing. I can't remember what they're called, but like I recognize them very acutely in my head because we always had them in the library I used to work in. But if it was just a room full of those, it's a room to escape too, says Leaky. I see, I would never leave. But here's the thing, I think if I was in an escape room full of like old car repair manuals, I would just learn a lot about car repair. I think I would just get into it. You know? Carglass cambia, Carglass repara. That is the Spanish Carglass jingle, by the way. It is slightly different to the English one. Alright, I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes, cause yeah, I want to get this done before I get, like, the ad countdown, which is gonna be coming up, in the near future. Where is my timer? 5 minutes. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 minutes on the timer, starting now. Let me just get rid of that notification. So I don't dox my friends. Okay. You want an escape? Haynes, that's the one. That's the car manuals. I don't want an escape room sponsored by Haynes, but if I was in an escape room that was just filled with old Haynes car repair manuals, I would just read them. I would just get into that. I would be like, ooh, tell me more. Tell me more about how to, I don't know, the particulars of the 2010 Ford Fiesta. Why not? Delightful. Okay, so I'm gonna... Terry's doing a cartwheel. Do I know how to draw a cartwheel? No, but we're just gonna go for it. So here's Terry. He's having fun. And he's like, yippee. Okay, so if I draw him like this is, oh no, this is so bad. How do I draw doing a cartwheel? Doop-a-doop. Doop-a-doop, doop, doop, doop-a-doop. Okay, he's got his little tunic on, his little belt with, like, stuff on it, and his little foots. Hopefully when we go this way... it looks like he's doing a cartwheel! Okay, sweet. Well, I don't know what's gonna be... what's happening with his cloak, though, because he also wears, like, a cloak. Which is kind of... Is it just gonna kind of be, like, flopping down? It's kind of just flopping this way. There we go! There's his cloak! Yay! And he's having a fun time. Okay. Now I have to remember how I draw. I've only drawn Craig once, so I have to try and like remember how to draw Craig, which is different to Terry, of course. He's got his little hat on. And I'm trying to go as quickly as I can, which is struggles, struggies. He's got his little wizard arms crossed, I think, here. He's got his little wizard arms crossed and his little wizardy outfit. His little wizardy robes. Okay, here's his feet. Here's his feet. Ah! What is time? Oh no! Oh shoot, he's got his little like satchel as well over his shoulder, so I'm gonna give him his little satchel, which is filled with, he's got like some scrolls and stuff in there, so there's this little satchel of scrolls, and I'm gonna give him some just inexplicable eyebrows. And I'm gonna give him a little thought bubble. And he's just thinking scribble. I hope that this establishes the vibe that you were thinking of. Yeah, I don't think Craig is that much of a cartwheel doer like me. I relate to Craig, because I also don't know how to do a cartwheel. I'm gonna do a little bit of shading in a bit, because I've got a little bit of time. Okay, that's it. That's time. This is Craig, the Toad Wizard, looks on enviously while Terry the Forg Mage does a cartwheel. Dan, I hope you're happy. Moving on. It's bookshelf time, friends. It's bookshelf time. Thank you, says Dan. Oh, you're so welcome. That was fun. That was fun. I look forward to more occasional shenanigans with Craig. Maybe possibly a drawing, like a illustration-y, painting-y, full color doodad of his magnificent self and Terry together at some point. I think that would be very, very fun. Now, I want to establish in no uncertain terms that his bookshelf here, which I think is kind of actually like built into the wall, because I think that'd be really fun and cool. It's kind of, this wood is very, these shelves are very organic, I feel like. They're very organic and not 100% even in terms of the shelf, like, depth and shape and that kind of thing. They're very, they're a little funky, I think is my point. And I think that's what makes them cool. At least I hope that makes them cool and doesn't just make it look like I'm incapable of drawing a straight line. But my thinking behind these is that they're you know, very like the cottage that, now, despite the fact that like Craig himself again is like, he's like a 32-year-old boy, but his cottage is definitely a lot older than that. He bought it specifically because he wanted a place that was, you know, very sort of felt like it had a lot of magic in it. And so that's why he lives here. I think Terry's cottage is either sort of half underground, sort of like little burrow into a hill, or inside a tree. I'm not sure which. But like that's the vibe of Terry's cottage. Probably like in a tree or something. Because he's got windows that otherwise I feel like wouldn't make sense to be in like a hobbit hole kind of situation. Anyways, so now I get to draw in the bookies. I think some tall books are gonna go on the bottom shelf here, but not exclusively tall books. But these are some quite sort of like antiquarian tomes of advanced magics and that kind of thing. Both says ooh, Moriax, my friend, you've got some good thoughts. Trees gotta have roots after all. That's true. Ooh, I like it. Me likey. Good stuff. Thank you. Okay. And we're just gonna again do that thing where like there's just a book that's kind of like resting on the top here, just kind of. I like when bookshelves just how many books can we ram into this shelf, you know what I mean? I think that's delightful. I think that's great. I also like that these shelves are the shelf heights are completely uneven. Like maybe they were originally more even than this, I don't know. Anyways, oh yeah, if anyone was around before Christmas and was here on the days when like my ad scheduler was not working, it's working again. There's absolutely no rhyme or reason as to why it stopped working and then started again. I can't figure it out. I'm just happy that it's just working again. So we will have a break in a couple minutes, but I shall carry on in the meantime. Am I giving this guy some quite, like, substantially thick hundreds of pages books because it means that I have less books to draw / paint? Yeah. Obviously I am. Also, he is holding a book. I don't know if that's obvious yet, but hopefully you will be able to see that he is in fact clutching a book in his arms. He's a very polite boy, our Craig. And personally, I love him, and I hope that you do too. Anyways, I'm gonna take another sippy do of my coffee because I forgot I had it. That's stone cold. Yum. Delicious. My favorite. Oh no. Okay. That one's just a tittle small book. This one's a little bit bigger, and then this one's a little bit smaller again. What order are these books in? You know what? I don't know, but I am absolutely sure that Craig does. For sure, he knows where everything is in this collection. How is this book hanging out here? Magic. It's staying in place by magic. Why not? And then we can't really see all of what's going on the top shelf, so I'm just gonna add in some book widths and actually.
Attention!
Twitch user Sammy Kelch.
Beans.
Choppers.
Hello, welcome in, friends. Welcome. Impish Goblin has just raided, so I'm gonna snooze the ad so that you guys don't get thrown into an ad break. Just as soon as you got here. Hello, Goblin. How are you doing? Hello, Reverse Pastry. Also, welcome in. Hello, friends. It's lovely to see you. And thank you so much for the raid. Thank you. Let me get a shout out for you in the chat. What were you up to today? Lovely to see you. Can I spell? I can, and my chatbot's working. Huzzah! Yay! Welcome in. This is Craig. He is the Toad Wizard. Anyways, it's lovely to see art and then some Alan Wake. Ooh, nice. As I'm sure you well know, it is an art tax optional stream over here. Yeah, literacy. Hell yeah, my favorite thing. We are an art tax optional stream. If there's anything you would like to share with the class, you are more than welcome to do so. If you just want to chill or like raid and run, it's all good. We welcome you, and thank you so much again for the raid. For anyone who's just come on the raid and is new here, hello, welcome in. My name is Twitch user Sammy Kelch. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and most Thursdays. I do cozy game streams on Fridays and every once in a while on a Thursday if I'm feeling extra crispy. But this week it's going to be an art stream. But we are playing through Silk Song on Friday mornings at the moment as well. I am a traditional artist working primarily in watercolor and similar artistic media, and we are expanding the lore of one of our beloved characters here, which is Terry the Forg Mage. Who is an absolute sweet pea of a pistachio-headed boy. This is like a rough draft of a possible new emote I might do at some point in the near future. But I'm expanding Terry's lore, and today we're meeting Craig, who is a toad wizard and a friend kind of Terry's. It's complicated. But here he is in his wizardy cottage, on his way probably to go do some studious wizardy business, with one of his magical tomes in tow. And I'm having a lovely time with it. I'm learning things about toads, which is fun. I looked up toads on the internet today. I saw just FYI, if you don't look up the Wikipedia entry for the common toad if you are at work, because there is a photograph in the Wikipedia entry for the common toad of just like a dozen toads all making love with each other, and I was not prepared for that. Oh my! Anyways. Dan says Sammy works in moist media. Moist media. Oh my god. Oh my god. Thank you. I drew a wizard frog recently. Seems on theme. Says Goblin. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, my friend. But yeah, if you ain't familiar with my work, let me hang on. Where's the I can show you what it looks like. Probably. I think I haven't posted any like just full new artwork since the new year started. So I've only got like, I can show you my year in review if I can get this to load. Yeah, it loaded first try. Hooray. But this is some of what my work looks like. Here's a year in review for 2025. Some of the artwork I got up to this year. As you can see, it's very watercolory. It's also very gay. And also I did some Silk Song fan art, and also I like railway stations, and also I like city architectures and stuff, and also I like cryptids, and also those hamsters, those 19th century hamsters are married. Yeah, it was a weird year, and it was a weird year for art, but I had fun doing it, so yippee. Urine review, says Dan. Yeah, my urine review is I'm drinking plenty of fluids. Oh shoot, Goblin, I'm assuming that was a link, could you whisper it to me? It does not work in the chat, I'm afraid, because that is broken. I like that ye old Silk Song, says Goblin. It was so much fun to do. So much fun. Also, let me get another shout out for you in the chat. And also another thank you very much for the raid. Anywho. What was I saying? I don't know. My brain, she is broken. But yes, it's trying to bump us into ads again, so I'm gonna give that another little snoozy do. One more. Okay. Links not allowed because of people like me being untrustworthy, says Dan. No, it's because we got a raft of spam for a while there. Just all of those, like, these seem to have gone away, but they come back in waves every once in a while. Just those, like, want more followers? Click this link, and I don't want anyone accidentally clicking it by mistake. Not my best, but this was my first time drawing Flog. Oh my goodness, I would love to see it. Okay, we have a link. I'm very excited. So let me cue this up. And, please, please load. Yippee. Oh my god! Not my best, they say. That's so stinking cute. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? This is absolutely delightful. Y'all, look at it. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. I love them. This is wonderful and amazing. Thank you very much indeed. Again, if you're not following Impish Goblin, you can go do that right there. This is so beautiful. This is a masterpiece, and I love them. I love their little faces. Absolutely precious. And just the outsized hat. Beautiful. Wonderful. Magnificent. Stunning. Breathtaking. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you again for the raid as well. Very much appreciated. Am I, since we have had 2 deferrals, am I going to actually put like a whisper of paint onto this page before we get catapulted into another break? The remains to be seen, but I think maybe we can do it. And I want to give it a go. Wizard powers directly based on the size of the beard or hat. I fully believe that this would be the case. That makes much sense to me. I opened the wrong paint palette. Let me see if I can find the good un for our purposes here. I want to find my frog and toad palette, which I did not design specifically with this toad in mind, but you know what? I feel like the frog and toad color scheme feels like an appropriate choice. All things considered. So, where am I? I think these are my frog and toad paints. Hooray! Let me fetch them out. I probably should have done this before stream started, but you know, sometimes time just like fully gets away from you. Time fully got away from me today. So, I was running a little bit late getting started to stream. And then, I just found a sketch that I was going to paint like days and days ago and forgot about it because it was in a pile of things. I'm not going to paint it today because it's Star Trek fan art. I tend not to do that on stream because I feel like that's a little too niche. So especially like, this is 1990s Star Trek. I don't know how many of y'all have seen it. That's too niche. And yet, a fully original Toad character no one's ever seen is not niche. What's wrong with me? I don't know. Anyways, am I speed running this now to see if I can just squeeze in like a painting some portion of this artwork before it's time to take a break? Yes, because I've got a minute and a half before we take a break. Oh no. So I'm just gonna put down a layer of like floor color. I'm not 100% on this brown. I'm not sold on this brown as floor color. Also, I'm wondering if I wanted to put like a little sideboardy, tabley type thing under this window now that it's too late to do. Well, it's not too late to do it. I can let this paint dry and then reevaluate if I feel like it. Anyways, this palette has a little bit of a it's a very sort of like umbery brown vibe to it, which I feel like works. It reminds me of like a Frog and Toad situation, like the Frog and Toad books. So I thought I would try and incorporate it into a painting that's about not the Toad from Frog and Toad books, but a Toad. Anyways. But I do want the colors in this piece to have a fairly sort of like warm vibe, because we are inside a cozy little cottage, so it makes sense that the colors would be kind of warmish and brownish and sort of a grayish brown for the walls kind of thing. So So we have a layer of floor, which I feel like is a good start. Ah, shoot, I think ads are about to begin. Because the ad warning has gone. Did the ad warning go? I don't know. I don't know. Are they broken? Anyways, ads might be about to run, so I'm going to quickly run away and BRB. But I'll be back very, very shortly, and you're not going to miss anything. So have a nice break in the meantime. I'll see you very shortly. BRB. Great news! This streamer did something terrible to their lower back. Yippee! Wow! That hurts real bad. Do not recommend. Yeah, I want to drop, like... I feel like there needs to be more stuff in this space. So, I might pop some little, like, shelves here next to this, like, window. I think that might be just a nice place for some little shelvy doos. It just feels like there needs to be more in this space. It's feeling a little bit... I mean, obviously, there's the wall is good. Give him a telly to stand. The telly is in a cabinet. Anyways, what would he be watching on telly? Probably like YouTube tutorials of some kind, like how to be even gooder at magic, that kind of thing. Little. Let's pretend that these are functional shelf brackets, because why not? Hi, babe.
Craig is an avid EastEnders watcher.
My moderator / spouse says that Craig is an avid EastEnders watcher. Here's the extent of what I know about EastEnders. An aerial shot of a bit of London. I can tell because it's the way the Thames does that little sort of like curve in that one bit. And doof 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 doof. That's it. That's all I know about EastEnders. And I know this because I used to watch a TV show that was on either just before or just after EastEnders. So I would hear the doof doof. There would either be like a dramatic shot of like, you know, an actor looking serious because they've just learned something that's a big deal or something like that. And then and then like the theme tune would come and doof 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 doof, or the credits would roll on the show that I was just watching, and I would see like oh look, it's London from up above, doof 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 doof. Anyways, hey Pigeon, welcome in. The only part of EastEnders I know is "You ain't my mother." Yes, I am. I'm assuming that's what they sound like. What's the pub called? Says Stan. The Crown and Kebab. I don't know, but usually the blank and blank is a good is a good estimate for a pub name in the United Kingdom. Gardener's World, says Dan. Oh, delightful. And those antique hunting shows. Ooh. I did used to enjoy the Antiques Roadshow from time to time. I did. I like the difference. So, in Canada, at the time at least, Canada didn't have its own version of the Antiques Roadshow, but there was the British Antiques Roadshow, and then there was the American Antiques Roadshow. And the difference between the two was so stark and so funny. Because the British Antiques Roadshow, someone would find out that, like, you know, like an old cabinet of theirs that, like, they inherited from their nan, they would find out that, like, oh, this is a really fine example of, like, this style of furniture design from the mid-1700s, yada, yada, yada. You can see by, like, this marking that it was made by this specific person, and these would have been used for this purpose. You know, at auction, this would probably fetch around £5,000. And they're like, ah, wonderful. That's just what I thought. Thank you. And that's the British version. The American version, they're like, you know, they'd go through the same explanations, and then they'd say, like, this would probably fetch about £5,000. And then there's this big, like, cha-ching graphic across the bottom of the screen, and the person's like, cha-ching! It's so funny! If you don't know, then that's 1,600 quid down the drain. Dan, don't say that. Also, I already passed the Life in the UK quiz. I don't have to take it again. You only have to do it once, and I did it, so I'm fine. Anyways, I'm pretty sure one of the questions was like, which of the following are components of a traditional Christmas dinner? Like, the Life in the UK quiz is an interesting experience, to say the least. Anyways, hello, darling.
I just find antique hunting quite cruel. I mean, yes, they're old, but shooting them seems unnecessary.
I don't know if you heard that. My moderator/spouse just said, I always think that antique hunting seems quite cruel. They're old, sure, but shooting them seems unnecessary. I hope I did the delivery justice. Oh god, it sounds fun. I want to take it, says Dan. Here's my person now. It may have changed because I did it 5 years ago. But my experience of taking the Life in the UK quiz was effectively there's a book that you have to purchase that is surprisingly expensive for what it is. Well, not surprisingly expensive. It's expensive for what it is, but it's expectedly expensive for what it is, first of all. You read the book. You read the book cover to cover. You memorize as many of the facts contained within the book as you can, and then you go to the internet where there are websites that contain practice quizzes for the Life in the UK quiz. Basically, just a list of random questions based on the things you read in the book. And you have to take, I think you're allowed up to, like, it's either 30 minutes or an hour to take the test, and you have to go to a physical, like, test center to take the test. So you find the one that's local to your area, you book a date and time, and you go take the test. And then you have to pay to take the test again as well, I believe, on top of all the other stuff. You lost me at read the book, says Dan. Yeah, absolutely. And it just contains a lot of facts about, like, aspect, you know, like an overview of some aspects of, like, British history, things like what's in a full English breakfast, how many ski centers are there in Scotland, what is a bank holiday, like there's a lot of just, some of the stuff is really basic, just information that you probably know because you live here, and some of it is like, you will never need to know this information unless you have specifically read this book. And you specifically are doing the Life in the UK test. So it's less of an exercise of knowing how much you know about, like, just generally being a person who is a UK resident. And more to do with, can you memorize facts presented to you inside a book? Because I suppose it's only fair that the only questions on the quiz are things that are contained within the book that you read. Otherwise, the questions could be so broad that you'd never really be able to, like, study or practice for it. And then there are certain things that, like, I feel like British people should know that, to be perfectly honest, I feel like a lot of British people don't. Like, for instance, how to queue for the bus. How to queue for the bus. The number of times that people do not know how to queue for the bus. It is one of those things that triggers my, like, even when, you know, I'm relatively close to the start of the route, so the bus is not going to be full by the time it gets to my stop. There's, like, one or two other people at my bus stop. It still triggers, like, the rules lawyer autism in me when someone jumps the queue and goes directly to the front and gets on before the people who are already there. It's like, we're all gonna get seats. We're all gonna get whatever the hell seats we want. It doesn't matter. But some of these people were here first. Obviously, making exceptions for, you know, people with, like, buggies or people with mobility issues that might need extra help getting on, that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, no, you go first. It's fine. But a random citizen who has no, you know, additional, like, needs for, like, boarding and stuff of the bus, who doesn't need to be in, like, the wheelchair space or the buggy space or have any, like, mobility whatevers, who's just a person also riding the bus. It's like, no, you can get on after us. The line starts back there. What are you doing? I don't like it. Also, yes, Dan says, also, let the people off first. 100%. And on the tube, says Joe. Absolutely. It absolutely also applies to the tube. I mean, it's queuing is a different situation with regard to the cube, and the tube, in as much as there are multiple doors from which to get on the tube carriages. So, you know, just stand at a door and get on. But obviously, stand to one side and let the people who are getting off get off first. Don't just, like, shove on assuming that no one needs to get off the train. What are you doing? Why would you do that? I will literally elbow check people that push on, says Joe. I love this, and you. Pigeon says, I walk through people who don't get out of the way when I disembark the train. And that is totally fair, because what are they doing? What are they doing? It's just... I say it's common sense, but I honestly don't think it's, like, mega common. I think there is something that happens to people, especially people, I think, who aren't regular commuters, that it's just enough of, like, a confounding experience if you don't do it on the regular, that a part of your brain just disengages that really needs to be engaged. Like, very desperately needs to be engaged in this situation. See, also, anytime you're in, like, a busy railway station or metro station and you're taking an escalator, and you've never been to the station before, so you don't know where you need to go once you get off of the escalator. The easiest way to navigate and solve for this is to take the escalator, walk off of the escalator, and then walk yourself to, like, a location off to the side, near a wall, somewhere that isn't in a pathway where people are walking. Not to come to a dead stop as soon as you get to the top of the escalator and look around confusedly. That is not the time to do that. And listen, I'm not someone who takes, like, you know, any kind of rail-based public transit through stations where there are escalators on any regular basis. I really only do it when I'm, like, traveling or visiting another city, because we don't have that here. But, you know, I still know if I am in an unfamiliar location, like, let's say I traveled to Amsterdam a few months ago. I get to Amsterdam, I get to the top of the escalator coming out of the metro station. What do? What do? I shuffle myself off to one side and go stand by a nearby wall that is not in anyone's path. And from that location, I look around and determine where I need to go next. I don't come to a dead stop at the top of the escalator where other people are coming up behind me and it's going to cause an accident. Because I'm not a ding-dong. I'm not a ding-dong who's forgotten how to use their brain. Anyways, I didn't even know there were rules, says Joe, but I know not to be rude. Common sense. Common sense! Common sense! Anyways, oh my god, I will tread on you if you do that, says Joe. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I feel like a lot of people would, because you're in the way. Get out of the way. Like, if you don't know where to go in the station because you've never been here before, that's fine. That's normal. If you're a little bit lost and turned around and you're not sure where you need to be going from here, that's normal. It's okay to need to get your bearings and figure out where you need to go, but do the getting of the bearings in a neutral location that is not directly in the path of people who are coming off an escalator. It isn't safe. Please. Anyways, that's my that's my feelings on that. I recognize again that these things are they're new to a lot of people, they're scary to a lot of people, and they are, especially if you've been traveling for a long time. Let's say you just got off of a long flight. Let's say you just landed in Singapore and you're at Singapore airport and you're taking an escalator to the arrivals level. I understand that you're tired. You know, especially let's say if you're coming from London and you just got to Singapore, you are tired. But please, please, engage a single brain cell of common sense and do not come to a dead stop right outside where people need to get past you. Please. Thank you. Same goes for getting off, same goes actually for getting off a train as well. If you just disembarked the tube, you've just arrived at Marylebone Station, and you are getting off of the tube here, and you're heading over to Taco Bell or whatever. Is there a Taco Bell near Marylebone Station? I don't know. Anyways, I'm just... Point being, you get off the train, you start walking towards the exit. Just walk to an exit, and you'll figure out where you need to go from that exit. Like, it's fine. It's fine. You'll figure it out. It's fine. Do not stand directly outside of the train and go like, no. Please. Unless you're like, unless you're legit having like a medical something, in which case, I hope someone is there to help you. Anyways, Taco Bell is rare in Singapore, says Dan. Unsurprising. But I bet they do, I feel like they do have a lot of good food. That isn't Taco Bell. Dan says, I went to Singapore. Were you spying on my airport conduct? I don't know. Were you conducting yourself in a terrible way? I would like to think that you wouldn't do that. You seem like a reasonable man, Dan. But also, I hope you had fun in Singapore. I have never been to Singapore. I think it looks like a fun place. I think it looks like a nice place. I think the food sounds delicious. And it looks neat. That being said, I feel like it's also warm. Sammy Ann, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Hello, hello, hello. I'm just doing some painty paints of this is Craig. Craig is a toad wizard. He is a friend kind of Terry's. It's complicated. But I think he's great and I love him. I am going to give him this little stand. That is the most imperfect circle anyone has ever drawn. I am genuinely tempted to see if I can find a round object of appropriate size and replace it with like an actual circle. I don't know if I have a good sized circle though. All of my circles are too big or too small. Ah, shoot. Because that is a very I want to give him an orb to ponder, because he's a wizard. I feel like he wants to be able to ponder an orb from time to time. So I wanted to give him an orb he could ponder. Craig looks delightful. I love Craig already. I think he's a fun fellow. I think he's got some stuff he needs to work through, like some personal stuff, but he'll get there. And but whether or not he realizes it, he does have a friend. Because Terry thinks he's neat, and they are friends. But he is absolutely convinced that he and Terry, the Forg mage, are in some kind of rivalry with each other. And like no friendy. Terry just thinks you're cool. Terry just thinks you're friends. Like, you're just pals. It's fine. Anyways. But Dan says, regarding Singapore, I assume, yes, they have great and varied cuisine there. It's such a mix of everything. It has 4 official languages and cultures, essentially. Including British from Empire days. Yep. Indeed. I also, this is so niche, but I really like the type font that Singapore uses for their, like, street signs. I think it's just a really elegant font. Anyways, Sammy Ann says, Craig would be my book buddy and we can mutually read things and stay out of each other's way. Aw, nice parallel play reading sesh. That sounds very cozy. Hell yeah. Did he and Terry go to school together? You know what? I feel like they maybe did. They probably know each other from like, student days, I would guess. They definitely go back, like, a good number of years. For sure. Oh, Sammy Ann says, oh, Craig, I relate. Oh, bless. I need a circular object that's the right size for a pondering orb for Craig. Let's see if I have anything that's a good sized because I feel like I've got, like, the end of this pen, but that's a little bit too small, I feel like that's a little too small I want the orb to be a little bit bigger than that. This is indeed how I like to draw circles, but, like, this ink bottle is way too big by contrast. I need something that sits comfortably between those 2 circle sizes. I could just attempt to freehand it again, but man, I suck at freehanding circles. Got the Pritt sticks too big. I've got, how big is the end of a 15 milliliter paint tube? And do I have one? I don't have one in here, but I think I have one in this box. 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can. Coins are fun to trace this, Sammy, and bold of you to assume that I have any cash money in the house. I mean, I do, but I don't think I have any coins, actually. I have a single 2-pound coin, but I know that's too big. I have, okay, the lid off of this paint tube, I feel like is probably a good size, but it also has some, like, bumps on it. So I might need to try and, like, oh, that's still too big. That's still too big. That's, raw umber. That's not coming to focus. That's raw umber. Anyways. Which is actually the anchor color for this palette. Sammy only has Bitcoin. Ew! Ew, why would you say that? Ew. Biddies I like. Bitcoin is no. How's that? No, I feel like that's again too small. Well, I could try this, but I feel like it's a little small. Also kind of went off the rails at the end there. Yep. Actually, that's not bad. That's not bad. This'll do. That was, thank you very much, Viridian. A beautiful shade of watercolor. And an extensive NFT collection. Ew! Dan, no! No! There's not enough funge. There's not enough funge in that. Anyways. No crypto, says Sammy, and I typed that and I nearly choked on it. Ew. I remember when, like, when NFTs were, like, the big thing for a while there, and they've just completely, like, no one's talking about NFTs anymore. They were like, oh, these are going to be worth so much money. Because that's the thing, is that also it wasn't about, like, we love art. We love art and expression and stuff. It was all about, like, these are going to be worth money. You should invest in these because they're going to be worth money. It's an investment. It's definitely not a pyramid scheme. Invest in these. They're going to be worth lots of money. And I just don't think... Oh, there are people talking about NFTs. They're usually scammers. I get the occasional, like, spammy comment on... I get a couple different flavors of spammy comment on my art posts on social media. And other artists in the chat will probably relate. Is you post something to Instagram and seconds later you get a reply to someone who you know is not following you. And they say something like, wow, stunning work. I'd like to buy it as an NFT. No. No, thank you. Or, I love you. Are you available for commission? Please DM me. Again, someone who is not following my account. It's like, well, if you were following my account, you would know that you could get commissions from me right here. Ta-da! There's my commissions page. Reply, I'll fund you in a minute. Oh, no. No, I don't want to fund anybody. What other things do I want to put on these shelves? I feel like maybe some funky little potion bottles, perhaps. Just a little ticket. The name of whatever kind of potion is in this potion bottle, or possibly a potion ingredient, I'm not sure. But Sammy says the number of check bounce scams that people want to try on poor artists who genuinely want to create super sad. It's just, like, I've said it before and I will say it again. Personally, I don't think you should scam anyone, but, why are the scam artists always targeting people who already don't have very much money? That just seems like a bad strategy for you. 'Cause, like, okay, wow, congratulations, you get 20,000 quid and you've ruined someone's life. Or you could scam someone who has lots of money and be even more likely to get away with it because they have so much money they're way less likely to notice. Now, I'm saying this, once again, I don't think you should scam anyone. I think it is an incredibly scummy and horrible, like, garbage human being thing to do. I know that times are tough economically, but taking advantage of other people who already don't have a lot of money and scamming them out of what little money they have is just one of the most morally reprehensible things that I can think of. It is never morally okay to be like, ha 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 ha, I'm going to scam you out of, like, your retirement money. guess you'll die. Like, you are a horrible person. You are a horrible, horrible person. Anyways, I feel like Craig would have a Funko Pop collection, says Dan. Amazing. I mean, I don't think I haven't like fallen prey to a scam in that way, like in any. Oh God, when we tried to sell. My moderator slash spouse like purchased a new phone and so had like an old phone that was, you know, it was still fairly new, and I don't think he'd had it for very long when he got like some sort of phone plan, so he was able to get like a brand new one. And so we were selling it on eBay, and everyone who responded to the eBay listing was like, hey, I would like to buy this, but I don't want to go through PayPal or the eBay purchasing checkout system. So can I just get you to go to this, like, can I just get you to go to this corner shop and then I will, like, wire you money? And then it's like, no. 100% no. Absolutely not. What's wrong with you? Of course the answer is no. Anyways. So that was really frustrating, and I think we had... I don't think we ended up actually selling it through eBay anyways. The listing just died. Because, like, all we got were people trying to scam us. And no. No. Also no. Joseph's Terry would... Craig would have a Terry the Forg Funko Pop collection. Oh my god. And a little portrait cameo by their bed. Oh my god. I'm not sure if that's bordering on, like... Is that creepy? I don't think Craig is, like, stalking Terry. I think he just doesn't realize that they're just good friends. But also, oh my god. Obsessive, not creepy. I don't know. If I found out that, like, someone I thought was just, like, my buddy had just, like, a picture of me next to their bed, I'd be like, do we need to talk? Do we need to talk? Because that's interesting behavior. I mean, I also say this as someone who knows that personally I am not as cool as Terry the Forg Mage. Therefore, I do not expect anyone to be obsessed with me because I am deeply uncool. Sammy says Terry has gifted them these items. Craig has kept them but denies doing so. Oh, what if... Oh... What if, like, Terry did a little, like, portrait of the two of them, like a little sketch portrait of the two of them, and it said something like best friends? With, like, a little heart. And Craig's like, oh my god. Best friends forever, says Joe. Yes, exactly. Oh, and specifically spelled friends. It has to be friends. Best friends. Oh, bless. Oh, what a sweet pea. Alright, okay, there's a little ticket with the name of this potion. And Craig is like, no, you're my rival. Whispers to Paintel, but we are kind of friends, aren't we? Yes, yes you are, Craig. You silly, silly, silly little guy. What an absolutely silly little toad boy, and I love him very dearly. Oh, beans. Okay, I need something else to go on this shelf here. Something else needs to live on this shelf, and T and C in a heart. A platonic heart. Yes, of course it's a platonic heart, but a heart would be very sweet. Maybe there's just, like... He's just got a little plant potto here. What sort of plant does he have? He's got, I think, one of those, like... Like one of these bad boys. One of those planties that eats bugs. He's got some kind of version of that, I think. There we go. And it's massive. This is my relationship with my brother, says Sammy, and aw. It's sweet. Okay, so he's got a plant pot with a little sort of bug-eating plant. He's got an orb to ponder. Do I need something here? Do I need a little lower shelf or like a table or something under the window? I feel like it wants some kind of like table-y situation under the window. I really do. So I'm gonna have to stick in some kind of like just little sideboardy type, table-y type situation here, I think. Yeah. Does it want to be a table? Or maybe like, oh, you know what it is? What is it called? It's like a Kallax. Is Kallax what I'm thinking of? The ones that I have in the house and still haven't built because I don't have space in the living room to build them. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. He's got like the fantasy. He's got like a fantasy ye olde Kallax. Scroll organizer, says Savian. Yes, perfect. Like one of these. But like the fantasy version of it. Anyways, but yeah, anyways. I forget what else I was gonna say. Square cubbies. I have some of those, says Sammy, and I have some of those that I have not built yet and that I've been meaning to build for, about 100 years. But it's because I've got most of like a lot of like my merch and art supplies and stuff, like the larger things, are just kind of in boxes in the living room. What I'm meant to be doing, or what I'm meant to have done, is to move all of that stuff into the Kallax shelving units and just have them sort of like put together into the shape of kind of like a weird table. But here's the thing. I need to move the merch and stuff out of the way so that I can build the shelving units, and I haven't been able to do that because I don't have anywhere to move the stuff in order to build the tables to put them back in. Because space is at something of a premium, so they just haven't been built yet. It's very frustrating. And if my moderator / spouse is listening, he's probably shaking his head right now because, yeah. But I'm working on it. Working on downsizing some stuff to try and just get it in there. Anyways, but so that's how it's going. Okay. Right. But I do still want these to feel a little bit ye olde. But it is definitely ye olde Kallax. Oh, jeez. Okay. So just some little storagey cubby holes here. Hopefully making them relatively square if I can. And if they're not perfectly square, that's entirely fine. Okay, so he's got a little Kallax under the window. Some more storage for some like spell scrolls and that kind of thing. Maybe I won't. Should I pencil in the spell scrolls now? Yeah, I will actually. So just a little. From this angle, they just kind of look like little curly cues, which is very fun. There we go. Got some spell scrolls in there. Just going back into the shelf. Okay, wizard. This is so silly. Some spell scrolls. Maybe he's got some like little little storage jars of like spell components and potion ingredients and that kind of thing. And here's got a little stack of them. Just got some funky wizard gubbins in there. I'm not sure what flavor, because I am not a wizard. Believe it or not, I don't practice magic in real life, only in D&D. And I haven't done any spell casting in D&D in a little while, because I'd had a regular sort of ongoing campaign which ended. And I've got a one-shot session coming up in a couple weeks, I think, which I'm very looking forward to. Getting to dust off my warlock skills for that, which will be fun. My warlock is terrible. By which I mean she's a lovely gnome, but she's terrible at being a warlock. It's very fun. Yeah, anyways, she's also dating her warlock patron, which is potentially messy, but it mostly means that she has like a magic book, and they exchange little like love letters in the magic book in lieu of texting, because this is a fantasy realm and they don't have phones. Anyways. Wow, that coffee is so cold. It is so cold now, damn. Anyways, just thinking about what else I want to add in terms of like details and stuff. I was thinking, does anything need to go on this back wall? And I feel like that might be doing too much. I don't know. But also I want to put some like decorative work sort of in this window. It's not gonna be like stained glass, but just like the window itself is gonna have some decorative sort of glass piece work with the stuff. It's not lead, but whatever, or maybe it is lead, I don't know, whatever they do with the windows to make it look cool. He's got some of that going because I think it's fun. What else wants to go in these little cubbies, I wonder? Maybe he's just got like he's just got some like folded up. This isn't particularly magical, but he's just got some tea towels in here just in case. You never know when you might need a magical tea towel. Why not? But what else might he want to put in his little magic storage? Sort of, maybe there's just like I'm just gonna pop in a little like woven basket here, I think. That's maybe just got some like, it's just a basket full of like magic feathers and stuff, just in case. You never know when you might need some feathers. So he's got like a little basket full of magic supplies like feathers. Or possibly if he ever wants to adorn his cap with something cute. Because he does, of course, have his wizardly hat, which is very fetching. He looks delightful. And in this cupboard, we've got, I think just like a big, this is just a big jar of tea. That's just a big jar of like loose leaf tea. Obviously he has more in his kitchen, but you can never have too much tea when you are a wizard and you've got a lot of reading to do. Because that's the thing about wizards, is that wizards do magic because they do a lot of stuff. Wizards are like the nerds. They study magic. They read all of the magic books and they learn how to do the magic, and that's how they magic. As opposed to like a sorcerer who just has magical abilities. Ta-da! Because of like lineage or wild magic or something like that. My long-running D&D character was a wild magic sorcerer, and they were so much fun. Because every time I cast a spell, I have to roll a d20, and it inches ever closer and closer to something wacky is going to happen if I cast this spell, and every once in a while something wacky would happen if I cast the spell. One time I think I just manifested a unicorn that just showed up and was my friend for an hour. That was fun. And I think also was like helped out in like the whatever fight we were in, but yeah, it was a good time. Anyways, I'm gonna put some like bigger scrolls. There's just a big old magic scroll in this cubby hole that we can't see very well. And that's that. I think that does it for the stuff that I want to add to this, so I think I will stop now with the addition of the stuff. But what I am gonna do is I think I want this I think I want this floor to be a little bit darker, so I'm gonna add a little black to it actually. And see how I feel about that. Color wise, I think that'll be neat. Anyways, enough about wizardy supplies. What did y'all have a good New Year? I know it's like last week now, but I haven't been on because I was taking a couple days off for New Year's. But I'm back now. So did you stay up? Did you have a nice time? Did you treat yourself? Did you do something fun? I'd love to hear about it. I ordered our traditional takeaway pizza for New Year's Eve, and then we had our traditional New Year's Day leftover pizza for lunch, and then in the evening we had our traditional New Year's Day cheese board, where we get like 4 different kinds of cheese, and we eat them with cheesy related gubbins. So, you know, I had like a bunch of cut up vegetables and crisp breads and that kind of thing. It was very nice and cozy and delicious, and the cheeses were really good. And oh boy, that was a substantial dinner. Partially because one of the things we got was I don't know whether or not, I think it might have been a specifically Christmas thing, so they might not still have it, but they had this like baked cheese dip that you put in the oven until it's all melty and bubbly, and it was made with like a smoked red Leicester cheese. But specifically it came in like a stoneware cauldron. Like it looks like a cauldron. So over the course of like December, so we got one, I think either in November or December, we got one, just had it for like a dinner one day, and then we got another one for New Year's Day. So now we have these 2 like beautiful cauldrons that we can just like eat like granola out of or whatever. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy that we got the cheese cauldrons, because A, the cheese dip was delicious, and B, you get a cauldron out of it. That's just a dish you have in your house forever, and it looks like a little cauldron. It's very cute. I don't know if it was intended to look like a little cauldron, but it does to me. So we have cheese cauldrons, and now I can use said cauldrons to just like eat snacks out of, and that's very exciting as well. Anywho, Dan says, we went to Mummy and Daddy's house for dinner, and then we went home and played video games. That all sounds very delightful and nice, and I love that for you. That sounds really fun. I don't actually know what I was doing. I don't remember what I was doing as like the clock struck midnight. I think, I know moderator / spouse had switched on his Animal Crossing island so he could like do the countdown with his Nintendo Animal Crossing villagers, which is very cute. I did not. I think I was just like watching. I think we were just watching YouTube videos, or I was like working on something. It was a very normal evening apart from like the countdown and hearing fireworks outside, and getting takeaway pizza, which was immensely filling. And also, it's the first time I've ordered takeaway pizza with a gluten-free base, because I guess it's been well over a year since the last time we got takeaway pizza, which is probably good, because takeaway pizza is not the healthiest choice, but the pizza was fine. The base was... I miss the actual, like, takeaway pizza bases, because it was not as good. It was a bit the same texture as the box it came in. But it was still delicious. Though that being said, as is pretty much universally the case, it was more delicious as leftovers the next day. bit crispier. The cheese gets nice and sort of like brown on the top, and all of the flavors have been hanging out for like 12 hours, so they've had a chance to get to know each other, and now it's like, this is good now. But yeah. Anywho, but that's that. We have a floor. How exciting! We have a floor. Wow. No, but seriously, that's good. That's progress. That's progress. I'm sorry. Please don't leave. Anyways. But yeah, New Year's was nice, but it was kind of, it felt like it was like over very quickly to me. Like it felt like it just kind of was just like, zoop, did I have a holiday? What? Like, what was that? It felt like it went by very fast. It felt like I spent a lot of time sitting and doing nothing, and then it felt like it was over so quickly. So, that's a weird feeling. The other thing is, I am so close, y'all, to be, that's the one thing that I did do while I was on Halls, was that I did a lot of work on my current sewing project, which is this 18th century shirt. Here is a portion of the sleeve, which you can see is all sort of like gathered in because they want to be poofy. But I, not to spoiler the video that I'm probably going to be making about this project when it is done, but measuring mistakes were, despite the fact that I made this shirt based on the measurements of another shirt that I already made to the same exact measurements as that shirt, this shirt, the sleeves are too tight. The sleeve holes fit funny and it makes the shirt fit funny. So I've had to go in and unpick like the bottom half of the sleeve seams and open the like side seam down about 2.5 inches and just like move the sleeve opening down and take out some of the gathering to give it a little bit more ease. And it's such a weird thing because, like I said, I use the exact same measurements as the first shirt that I made. Like, I took a tape measure and measured how long is the sleeve opening of this shirt. I'm doing the exact same thing, and on this one, it's weirdly tight, even though it fits perfectly on the other shirt. Ah! What the heck? That makes no sense. So my plan going forward for this shirt design is to just give myself extra ease in the arms, like, beyond what I think it needs. Just so I don't have to do anything twice, basically. Because, yeah, that was an unfun surprise. Like, I tried it on and I was like, yeah. This feels bad. Uh-oh, connecting to chat, says my streaming software. Am I still here? Okay, I'm still here. That was odd. But I think we're good. I think we're good. I think I can maybe even safely paint a little bit. So I'm gonna safely paint a little bit, y'all. How exciting. And then I might look at what do I want to do with the I'm just getting some of this. So this is black, but it's been mixed with the, so for anyone who's not familiar with this palette, all of these paints have been like mixed. This is a rainbow of colors, and each one has been blended with a roughly equivalent amount of the same sort of color, so the palette is kind of unified in that way. And the color that I chose for this was raw umber, which is a sort of a light brown. So everything in this palette has a sort of brown infused vibe as a consequence. Which gives it a nice sort of like warm, cozy feel to it, I think. You know, you've got like a brownish red and also a brownish green, or a greenish brown even, a brownish blue. The blue isn't really blue at all at this point. It's kind of greenish gray. But again, for this palette, that kind of works. So if you've never painted with a palette like this, it's like, it makes thinking about color theory really easy because all of the colors have an amount of the sort of single sort of like unifying color within them. It they all go together really nicely, and so it gives your painting a really nice sort of pulled together look, which I really enjoy. And I think it's a nice way to paint things. I think it's a nice way to get a shortcut to having colors that you know are going to work well together as well. So, yeah. And I like to pre-mix them into these. I have a couple of these now. The other one that I think is probably my favorite is the Lunar Red Rock palette, which is like a really nice, warm, sort of dark brownish red. That works really well for like wintry, sort of autumny, wintry scenes, because it's like indoor scenes specifically, because it's very warm and cozy. Yeah, anyways. So now I'm just plopping in the backdrop at the back of these bookshelves, because I feel like there's probably not a lot of light is getting back there, so I can use a fairly dark color to fill this in. Anyways. As for what's for my dinner tonight, because I know that's the question on everybody's mind. I'm having leftovers. Specifically, yesterday I went crazy, and for the first time in honestly probably years, I made lasagna. I don't make lasagna very often because even though we love it, it's very rich, and it's also very labor intensive because you have to make like 2 different sauces / fillings. You have to like pre-cook stuff and then cook it again in the oven for usually a fairly long amount of time. And that just feels like a lot. So it's not something that I like to do super regularly, super often because of that, but oh boy, it's such a good recipe. It is just such a good recipe. And I very much enjoy it. I don't have a written version I can share because it all just lives inside my head, but you know, you make a tomato sauce and you put a ton of vegetables in it, or in my case, because I didn't want to expend the effort of making an entire tomato sauce from scratch, you buy a jar of like a good pasta sauce. And I feel like pasta sauce is one of those things that like the ones that come in jars, a lot of them are really good already. And it's just a nice little bit of and they're not super expensive either, especially if you get them on offer. This was like £1.50 for like a jar of pasta sauce. That's not terrible in the grand scheme of things. And it's not that much more expensive than just a can of like, just like a tin of tomatoes, which I would be using as the base for my pasta sauce anyways. So it's not mega expensive or anything. So I just used like a jar of like cherry tomato and basil Heinz pasta sauce that was on offer at the supermarket for fairly cheap. And then I just added some vegetables to it. I think I grated in a carrot and added some like chopped bell pepper. And that was it. That was the sauce. Nice and easy. And then for the other layer, I know bechamel sauce is like a classic popular choice. But I use ricotta, and spinach as the filling. So I took a bunch of blocks of frozen spinach, you know, defrosted them, just squeezed all of the moisture out of them as best as I could. And you have to squeeze all of the moisture out of it as best you could, because oh my god, that has the spinach, there's so much water in it, and you don't want your pasta being that watery. So you squeeze that out, season it with a little bit of salt and whatever you want. Mix that with the ricotta, that's your other filling. And then just some low-fat mozzarella cheese ball. And you assemble. And you bake it in the oven for the box packet instructions for the pasta. Said 40 minutes, it took like an hour. Anyways, ads are running, so I will be back very shortly. Thank you so much for sticking around. BRB, everyone. See you in a minute. There we are. Okay, I'm back. Hi, I'm back. Hello. Hello, hello. Thanks for sticking around again. As always, it is very much appreciated. And it's wonderful to be back. Hello. Welcome back to Craig the Toad Wizard. Thinks about toad things. Anyways. Yeah. What do I wanna paint in next? I think, should I maybe attempt to establish some of this, like, wall texture? I feel like I should. First of all, I'm gonna kind of... I want the wall to be a little bit more... a little bit less just perfectly straight up and down. I just feel like that is a little bit more the vibe, because this is definitely somewhat of a nice oldie stony cottage kind of situation. Like so. So I'm just popping in some little stones wherever they want to go to make up to wall. This is probably going to look really busy and terrible until I paint it in, and then hopefully it will look less busy and terrible. I don't know. Yay! Have I made a terrible mistake? Who knows? Let's find out. Okay. Doop, doop, doop. Anyways. But yeah. What's everybody up to this week? Are you doing anything exciting and fun? I've got a dentist appointment, which I'm admittedly not thrilled about, but so it goes. I don't think it's going to be the most taxing of dentist appointments, but I'm still not looking forward to it, you know? I've had a lot of dentist appointments over the last little while. This one's also going to be expansive. I've got a lot of expenses this month that have been sort of waiting for me, and they're all kind of happening at once now, and it's scary and bad, and I don't like it. Anyways, oh yeah, speaking of, here's the sponsored segment of the stream. This stream has been brought to you by me. I have a shop where you can buy, like, prints and stickers and stuff, and, you can commission me as well. It's all there. Check it out. I hope you enjoy. If you do, cool. If you don't, that's also cool. It's fine. I still love you. Anyways. I haven't concluded my tea. Good. Okay. Just gonna quietly continue slotting in funky little stone shapes, I guess. Let's see how we get on with that. I think this is a vibe for Craig's cozy little cottage. So I think Terry's cottage is quite wood, so I think Craig on the one hand, like, wants Terry to think that he's cool. Which, like, Terry already does. Like, you don't have to worry about it so much, bro. Terry already thinks you're cool. He thinks that you're best friends, you know? Like, chill, it's okay. But also, he also, you know, is a little bit rivalrous, wants to be a little bit different. So he's like, well, here's my, you've got a nice sort of, like, woodsy cottage. Well, here's my stone cottage. So there. And that's the Craig vibe. And you know what? Love that for him. There's, like, some quite little stones just kind of taking up some spaces here. There we go. Okay. Yay! We did it. It looks fine. Now I have to do that again on this wall, but at least most of this wall is kind of like covered, so there's not actually as much space to kind of fill in here, I think. There's quite a big stone here, and then maybe some smaller ones to kind of fill in the space, fill in the gaps, that kind of thing. So there's one like here, just goes like that. Just like that. Oh, isn't that delightful? I don't know. It's a stone shape, at least. Doop. And then I guess the window frame gives us a little extra layer of complication with our stone placement, but hopefully, I'm sure whoever built this cottage had that well in hand. We sort of put this one here because that's like the perfect sized stone to kind of go that way, and then maybe there's just like a little guy that's kind of shaped like this, just there, and then another one that's kind of shaped like this, just here, and then just another little guy making up that space. Yay! I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never built a stone cottage before. I don't know if this is like good or adequate or interesting stone placement. There's some little gappage here, so let's fill it in. Some little buddies. There we go. Anyways, but yeah, I think I'm enjoying the Craigler. I think actually, looking at it just on the monitor as opposed to like in person, I do feel like it's coming together. I think that the stone like wall was a good shout as well. I hope, anyways. I hope it's cute. I think it's cute. I'm having a nice time doing it. Okay, just trying to make sure I'm not accidentally. Oh shoot! I was trying really hard to make sure that I didn't tangent off of the location of sort of the fill line of that of this like potion, but I somehow managed to do it anyways. You can probably see the outline of the stone kind of behind whatever this like potion ingredient is anyways, because it's probably a little bit transparent because it's a liquid, so that's fine. I'm gonna come back over here, see if I can fill in some of these areas as best as I can. Okay, like so. Yay! Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So just going to pull the top of the painting upwards a little bit, like so. I just need to wrap up this kind of area, which is fine. Anyway, so sorry for getting quiet. I'm just like I'm just concentrating. Oops. Never mind. It's fine. But yeah, I've been wanting to do a little bit of a lore expansion of like the wonderful world of Terry for a little while. And I just felt like the new year might be a good time to introduce us to another member of like Terry's circle of his world, as it were. And I think that Craig is a fun friend. And you are friends, Craig. Don't sweat it. Like, Terry thinks you're cool. I promise. It's okay. Anyways. Alright, I think that'll do for the... I like that. I think that's really cute. I think that's a really good vibe. I hope that it works out well in the end. Yeah, Joe says it's all okay. Thank you. Yay. I'm glad 'tis good. I'm probably not going to go on too much longer. I know we not too long ago had a break, but I'm probably gonna call it fairly soon because I'm gonna need to go cook dinner now. Admittedly, dinner is like leftovers, so it's not gonna take that long to cook. But with that being said, it is leftover lasagna, so it is actually quite dense and it might take a while to cook. Oh no! So once again, I didn't get as much done as I thought I would today. Whoops. But hey, you know what? I had nothing this morning, and I managed to pull an entire toad wizard from somewhere. So, hey, you know what? I'm happy with that. Looking forward to deciding what color orb Craig has, because he's definitely going to have some kind of color orb. Empress Hole TV, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome in, Empress, and thank you so much. Welcome, welcome. I hope you have a lovely time here. Thank you for the posture check as well. How did you know? My lower back has been absolutely killing me. So I appreciate the stretch. Ow. I don't know what I did. I just before stream, I stood up and my lower back is twanging, but I could do with the stretch because I have been, sitting like a dang shrimp, so I appreciate that. Thank you. But also, I hope you're having a lovely Monday. I hope you're all having lovely Mondays. I hope your Mondays have gone well. I hope things are good. I'm having a nice time with Craig. And, yeah. Anyways, I'm just about out of beverages. So I think I'm gonna see if we can find someone to raid. I say we just took a break. It's actually been like 20 minutes. I just have absolutely no concept of time apparently, so let's go do that. Also, drawing the things took a little wee while, so let's see. Let's see who's about that we can do a little raid on. I'll be back on Thursday, by the way, continuing this painting, which it turns out is what we're working on right now. So, yeah, I'm happy with that, honestly. Having a nice time. Let's see, who have I not raided? Oh, you know I haven't raided in a while. Yeah, let's go say hi to. Let me just make sure that they're not just about to finish before I'm just like, oh, let's go raid. I am so terrified. I was like, let's go raid this person, and then they're like obviously about to leave, and then oh no, ooh, doing some bird art, which is very exciting. We love bird art. As you may well know, I'm currently working on a project where I am painting like just a gazillion different species of robin. So I'm gonna pop some birds. It's a different kind of bird in the raid message, but I'm going to pop in a raid message. If I can get the cursor to do the thing, damn it! Twitch is testing me. Twitch is very much testing me. No, why are you being like, nah. Okay, there we go. A raid message is coming into the chat in just a second. If you have the emotes, feel free to grab the raid message with the emotes. If you do not have the emotes, you can just say generic raid message and append any cool emotes that you do have. It's all good. I'll be back on Thursday continuing this little wee work of Craig, the Toad Wizard. Actually Terry's friend. And we will get more into the depths of Terry the Forg Mage lore in so doing. I'm looking forward to it. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go have some leftover lasagna. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's been super, super fun. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Monday. I hope you have a very good week. I hope to see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Good night and good luck.